Thank you for making it to Veterans Info Tap. Glad you made it. Everybody's aware now of the COLA 8.7% increase we're all getting. And the thing that I've noticed is there hasn't been any discussion on the other aspects that it increases. So beyond the disability and dependent compensation, so your disability compensation would be your bad knee, your bad back. The dependent compensation would be once you over 20% and you get to the 30% and up, you're able to add dependents to your compensation payments. So then you get a little bump. So those also go up. So besides those, there's actually two other things that are going up for VA benefits. And if that's something that you're interested in, please hit that thumbs up for me, subscribe, share, whatever, do all that good stuff so we can get this word out to more of us. So one of the other things that are going up this next paycheck, because now here we are in December, is the clothing allowance. The clothing allowance is going up to $968. That's a per year basis for that annual clothing allowance. Now remember, the clothing allowance is something that you could apply for if you have any sort of prosthetic or you have creams that you're putting on your body that soil your clothes. A prosthetic does not just mean let's say, a limb, right? So if you're missing a leg and you're putting on a prosthetic, that's one way. But it can also be things that have to, let's say, a consistent knee brace, for example. That could be a prosthetic. Or if you have some sort of a lower back apparatus that you have to strap on and goes to your hips, maybe your underwear, your pants, maybe your shirt kind of get tied up in it and get a little jaggedy, then you can go ahead and apply for that clothing allowance of almost $1,000, right? $968 per year. The other one that I wanted to talk about is the dependent indemnity compensation. So that's DIC with the VA. This is a benefit that goes out to surviving spouses and also qualified dependents. So surviving dependents. So it's important to note that if you pass away as a disabled veteran, if the cause of your death or contributing cause to your death is a service-connected condition, your surviving spouse can receive dependent indemnity compensation. Very, very important information, and there's many spouses that are not aware of this. If you heard in any of my previous videos where I kind of mentioned this a little bit, the quick example here, the died of a service-connected condition is pretty easy, right? If you have a heart condition that you're rated for and then you die of a heart attack, that's, they kind of go hand in hand. But the contributing cause piece, sometimes people get a little mixed up with that. This is a great example, and this is a true story. A veteran not rated for anything to do with his heart passes away. Spouse comes, talks, finds out on the death certificate, it just simply says heart attack. Look through the veteran's records. Sure enough, he's got a circulatory issue in the legs. This circulatory issue, had the death certificate revised, and they went ahead and did a new one, and they put on their contributing cause the circulatory issue that he was service-connected for. And because of that, the VA now viewed the cause of death favorably for dependent indemnity compensation. So again, if you pass away of a service-connected condition, or a service-connected condition is listed as a contributing cause to your death on the death certificate, then your surviving spouse or dependent child or what have you can receive this dependent indemnity compensation. Now, one more piece to that. If you are a 100% rated veteran and you've been 100% for 10 years, okay, 10 years, after that 10-year period has passed, you can pass away of any condition. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't need to be service-connected. Your surviving spouse would be able to, or dependent child, would be able to go in for this dependent indemnity compensation. So it's a very important benefit. So now, with the fact that it's going up, it is going up to $1,562 as the base rate. Again, the base rate, $1,562. Now, if your surviving spouse gets dependent indemnity compensation because we pass away and they receive that, or if you are currently receiving that as a surviving spouse, there's a transitional 2-year kind of provision in the dependent indemnity compensation. I'm just going to start saying DIC because it's too much of a mouthful. So there's a transitional period or provision that's a 2-year period. And if you have children that are under the age of 18 for the first 2 years after the veteran had passed away, there's an additional $332 per month that you can receive. In addition, there's also what's called an 8-year provision. I'll put all this stuff buried into the description below so you can dig through it and read it. There's an 8-year provision where you get an additional $331 per month. If you receive aid in attendance, you need help, because you're disabled or the spouse is disabled in some sort of a way and you need some additional assistance. There's an additional $387 per month onto that payment. If you have housebound issues, you cannot leave the house, you're kind of bedridden or what have you, there's an additional $181 per month for that. And then for any dependent children, so if you have 2 dependent children, 3 dependent children, or 1 dependent child, it's an additional $387 per dependent child. So this can really add up, and these are the new rates for the new year moving into 2023 for dependent indemnity compensation, DIC. I said I was just going to say DIC. Oh well. So this is what I implore every veteran to do, is to print out some of this information. And if you have a file or folder somewhere that has maybe life insurance plans or information on your Social Security benefits, anything like that, go ahead and print out some stuff on dependent indemnity compensation. So that way, if anything were to ever happen to you, your spouse would have something that they could reference to know what they need to go through in order to get various benefits. Again, I've seen way too many times where surviving spouses have no clue that any of these sort of benefits even exist. So print it out, put it in there, tell your spouse about it so they're aware where to find that file or folder or what have you with your different life insurance and so forth, because this is a tremendous benefit that could help them in a very horrible time. So with that, I'll go ahead and cut it here. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please subscribe, like, share with a friend, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong. I can't even say it. Long day. Have a great one.